go. We've got a lot to talk about. Like a lot to talk about. There's a little bit of noise over there, but hope you guys can hear me good. So, you guys wanted an update, and first off, I'd like to say something. The video that you guys saw on this car was actually, when it was uploaded, that was actually a video from 2 weeks prior. I was debating on uploading it because things turned out differently, but you guys wanted content, obviously, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to deprive them of content or keep anything out of the build. I gotta let them know what's going on. I took it to Bruno's. Now, when I did a compression test, I didn't speak in details with the whole thing, but when I took the car to Bruno's for the prior taking it to Bruno's for the compression test, I went to AutoZone, I rented a compression tester, and I ran a compression test on the car. Now, as I was saying, it read 90, 90, 90, 70. Horrible numbers. Mind you, my battery is low. My battery on crank is about 11.9 volts, 12 volts. It's not enough for cranking. It's actually probably maybe 10.9, 11.5 around there. But yeah, so battery's definitely dead. It's not a good battery. I mean, it's a shit battery. It's really bad. Oh, there it is. It's right there. But yeah, horrible battery. But anyhow, I don't know. Where do I explain? Basically, the compression tester that I had rented was clearly bad. I went to Bruno's house for a leak down test. Now, the only thing unfortunate about that was the leak down tester that he had, I guess was a friend of his, and they didn't have a check valve in it. So weren't able to actually gauge the motor on a leak down test. Instead, we had to do a manual leak down, which, if you're not familiar with that, that is basically plugging in the cylinder, you know, turning on the air compressor, feeding air into the cylinder, hand turning it over by the crank pulley, and seeing if it'll hold pressure. If it's bleeding pressure, it'll come out either the exhaust or it'll come out of the oil filler cap. One or the other. We tried it on the two front cylinders, so, you know, just to get an idea of one versus the actual hurt one, and both of them were positive. There was nothing wrong with them. They weren't leaking at all. There was nothing coming out of the exhaust. There was no sounds, no air, no smoke. Same thing with the front. There were no sounds, nothing. So no sounds at the oil cap, no sounds at the thing. The leak down was positive. So he's like, you know what? Let's do a compression test. So we actually went to his AutoZone and rented another compression tester just to put it in perspective. You know, he had a compression tester, but we were like, you know what? Let's use the same type of compression tester that I ran, but one that's in Oxnard. And we did it, and the results were, and mind you, the motor was not completely hot. So there's a little bit of difference in there. Now, okay, so the thing is, when I had rented the compression tester that was bad from AutoZone, the numbers that I gave you guys in the video, that was 90, 90, 90, 70, those were on a cold motor. The day after I had done that test, I didn't talk about it, but the day after I did that test, I did it on a hot engine, and this cylinder read 90, and this one read like 110. So 110 and then 90. So it bumped up a lot, you know, with the heat. So anyhow, me and Bruno did another compression test, and the results on his compression tester were on a cold engine. Not super cold, I mean still a little hot to the touch, but not hot, you get me? Basically, I got to his house, we did a leak down, then, you know, so I got to his house, we let it cool down for about 10 minutes, did a leak down, then we left, went to AutoZone, that was about a 30-minute deal, came back, and then did a compression test. So the car probably sat for around an hour-ish, so it wasn't hot anymore. It was definitely warm-ish, and our results were 130, 130, 127, and 117. So then he's like, you know, he's like, let's try it with a battery jumper. So we put a battery jumper on it, well, you know, a charger, and we cranked it on boost, and instantly the car started cranking normal. The car wasn't cranking, you know, having that skip as if it was down on compression. It was cranking completely normal. So we were like, Battery obviously has a lot to do with it. I'm sure with a hot car and a perfect battery, the cylinders should be like 150, 150, 150, maybe like 145-ish. And basically the reasoning for that, there's an issue, and we're pretty much ruling it out that it is not a head issue. If it was a head issue, like a valve or something like that, it would be leaking oil, it would be burning oil, it would be smoking, and it would be misfiring. It's not doing anything besides cranking weird. Now, this is what is slightly leading me to believe that it is a ring gap issue. Now, for the people asking how the motor was built, yes, we, mic'd the block and did everything, and if you remember in the video, we labeled out the pistons and gapped everything accordingly. We didn't necessarily just put the pistons in, as some people do, and some people were saying on the comments. We actually measured everything out. Well, Bruno did. But everything's fine, And like I was telling some guy in the comments, personally, okay, say it is a bottom end issue. I'd personally have a car that cranks a little funny but drives badass, right? That is going to be happier at redline when you're shoving 30 pounds of boost down its throat because you have a really loose ring gap, than have a motor that's super tight and healthy when you're turning it on and idling, but under pressure it wants to crack because the piston is expanding and it's swelling too much. So I don't know, what would you guys rather have? A super tight cylinder that sounds good when you turn it on but could potentially crack a ringland or even break a ring at high boost? Or would you rather have a loose motor that's kind of loose on cold starts and it's not that happy, but under high boost it's not affecting anything? Because even at full swell it's like perfect under high boost. It's like perfect swell rather than being pressurized so much to where it's gonna fucking explode. But yeah, that's basically it. Just wanted to make a quick update on that. Other than that, we are no longer on the church tune. I will be making that my next video, addressing my dyno day with church. As you can see, we are Bruno Spec Tune, baby. We are back. Bruno literally just made changes to the last tune for our new Cobb 4-bar map sensor. So we haven't got any tuning time in it yet because we've been dealing with, trying to figure out if the motor's okay or not. I was gonna pull the motor, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna pull it, but then after a while I was like, you know what? The hell with pulling it. It's driving fine. There is no issue, really. I mean, the only issue there is a weird crank, but that weird crank noise will go away when I get a better battery. I'm literally turning this thing on with a dead battery, and let's just say that one cylinder has a more loose ring gap and it is, slightly leaky compared to all the other cylinders. Big deal. Big deal. With a new battery, you're not even going to tell the difference on how it cranks. It's going to crank like a normal one, and it's going to be happy, healthy, and ready to run. So yeah, as I said, the next video is going to be addressing the whole church tune deal, but we are on a Bruno Spec Tune again. Feels good. I don't know, guys. Feels good. Bruno Spec Tune, Bruno Spec Built. The whole thing, I'm being a lot happier and more positive about it now. Oh, bonus. Check this out. I've wanted to have this for about a year. Ever since I got this car, when I was just, pre-F-body days and stuff like that. I mean, pre-Subaru days when I had just the F-body. I was always jealous of my friends with new cars because their cars would beep when they'd lock and unlock them. Literally, for the entire year that I've owned this car. Mind you, our anniversary, our 1 year, was just a few days ago. And we did go for a little drive, and that was fun. Should have recorded that, but I didn't, because I was all emo because of the video that I had made prior. But, long story short, posted on Facebook if anybody knew how to do it, and some guy helped me. So it's funny. The instructions on the owner's manual to turn on the alarm chime when you lock and unlock the doors did not work. The one on the manual, it did not want to work. A few guys on the forum, months prior when I made a video out seeing if anybody could help me, their methods didn't work either. But I found a way, and it's pretty cool because now, oh, okay. It's funny. It really is just the little things in life that make you the happiest. Got my chime back. Compression is up on the motor. once I get a good battery, I'm not going to hear that cylinder that has a potentially larger ring gap, which is causing lower compression, yada, yada, yada. Car's good. Car's back. Car's happy. Car's healthy. Just wanted to make this little video for you guys. Me, my boy George, and my friend Jesse, who is also built by Bruno. He has my twin, but it's all done up. I mean, it's got seats, roll cage, it's on bags, it's built motor, IAG motor, whole nine. He's like my nicer twin. But anyhow, me, him, and George are going to be attending Subi Fest. So if any of you guys are in the, Southern California or even NorCal area, come out to Santa Anita Park, October 21st. The show is going to be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it's a Subi Fest. It's a bunch of Subarus. But yeah, no, definitely. I entered my car. That was 75 bucks. I know it ain't going to win anything because, I mean, look at it. It's stock. It's stock. It's got some curb rash from previous owners. And it's got chips that are all touched up. It's not the prettiest thing, but you know what? Figured I'll do it for the YouTubes, you know what I mean? You guys, I know, would want to see the car in the show rather than me just walk around with the camera. So, with that being said, me and Sabrina, the STI, will be at Subi Fest this upcoming Sunday. Like I said, that is October 21st. Mark your calendars, and I'd love to see you guys out there. So, like I said, if I don't see you guys before then, I am going to be filming that entire day because it is going to be a super fun, awesome day. And I hope to see you guys because it'll be a lot of fun. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I entered the car in the show. I am not doing autocross or anything like that. So Sabrina will be on display with the hood up because that's the only thing worth looking at. But yeah, hope to see you guys there, and I hope you guys like the fact that the car is going to be in the show. Yeah, with that being said, if I'm at Subi Fest and you guys see me or run into me or you just want to talk, hang out by the car, come say hi. I'd love to meet you guys in person. You know, that's what this is all about, and that's what I'm doing it for, just to connect with you guys. So if you want to see the car, come check it out. It'll be there from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. because I got to get there early for the show car roll-in, which is going to be, it's going to be tough because the car, gotta drive it in the morning. I'm not a morning person, and it's about an hour away from where I live, so God, that's gonna be fun. Not looking forward to the drive over there, but it will be cool. Oh yeah, so the fuel pump actually took a shit last night. The car did not let me leave home. Thankfully, this problem happened at home, and it didn't happen out in the middle of nowhere. It was pretty scary. I went to turn the car on, it ran for a second on a cold start, completely died. I was like, you know what, that's weird. Cranked it again, just crank. Would not turn on for the life of me. I actually went, I checked the fuse, I reset the ECU to make sure that the relay would click. Everything was good, and I was like, you know what, that's messed up. I took a multimeter, I pulled the back seat out, I tested the wires going to the pump, and it was getting 12 volts, so there's power getting to the pump. All the fuses, relays, and everything were fine. I'm like, what the hell could be some videos on it? Oh, come on, dude. Put a muffler. That's a new Silverado. Put a muffler on it. You're not cool by not having a fucking muffler on your Silverado. Man, guy, fucking truck people, man. Anyhow, getting to it, I'll put some videos here from my Instagram that I posted on my story. Shameless plug, if you want to follow me on Instagram and catch up with my daily life, I post there probably once or twice a day. Always on Instagram. The links, it's in the description. Just add me. You can follow up with me in the car on a daily basis. It's cool. But yeah, I'll go ahead and put the video here. Fucking asshole of a car. Fuck you, AEM, you piece of shit. Found the problem. Loose contact. Fire. No pump. No pump, no fuel, no start. Fuel pump assembly is all put back together, so get into better detail. This plug right here had too much play in it, so the power wire on that smaller plug was arcing the whole time and finally just lost connection and burnt out. So we cleaned the contacts, bent them, and now it's making perfect contact. Even stuffed a little wire in there just so it's extra tight. Tested it on the battery, and we have power, so. It was pretty crazy because the fuel pump stopped working, and I was trying to figure out why. So I had to pull the whole fuel pump out of the car, and turns out what the issue was, believe it or not, so there's two plugs, right? One goes to the sending unit, that's a thicker plug, that plugs, you know, into the top hat of the fuel hanger, and then you have a small one with just a blue and a black wire, which is your power and ground from your fuel pump. It's like a little harness, right? Now that, the power wire, I unplugged it, and we were like, what the hell? So we actually put the fuel pump, we connected it, we put it to the battery, and it spun fine. So the fuel pump was working, so we're like, good. Now let's check out this plug. The plug was burnt. Somehow, some way, I guess when Bruno installed the pump or whichever, you know, it's probably an honest mistake, or, you know, maybe just it was wore out. But the clip was kind of wobbly, and basically what happened was, you know, there's metal contacts. So there's some little metal contacts in the female end. Now when you slide it into the main plug, the contacts are supposed to touch. But it was so loose, however, somehow the contact was bent, and it was like this, so it wasn't making connection. So the whole time I've been driving this car, it was arcing like this and making a spark. Eventually got too hot, arced, and went pew! It literally just completely fried itself. So went ahead and cleaned those contacts, bent them back into the perfect shape. Then I actually took some wire and I, you know, shuffled it up really nice, and I wedged it in there in the female end and snapped that clip in. So now we've got all the connection, all the boost, all the connection to the fuel pump. So now the clip, the prong, the contact is actually leveled perfect to where it makes good contact, and because it was still loose, got wire shoved in there, so now it's getting full power and it's locked down tight, which is really good. So little scare there, you know, I was gonna make a video, believe it or not, and be like, oh, it died again. Little clickbait stuff, but no, I figured I'd just tell you guys that because, you know, I was able to fix it in a day. It wasn't that big of a deal. So yeah, fuel pump issues fixed. First time actually driving it since last night. I just took it out right now. I'm gonna go get some food. But yeah, car's good now. But anyhow, with that being said, guys, I thank you all for watching. And as always, hope to see you guys next time. So stay tuned for the next video. And hey, like I said, if I don't see you, I'll see you at Subi Fest. So regardless, stay tuned. Peace.